Hi, my name is Joe Stevens. I'm a NAMI facilitator. My ex-wife is bipolar, and my current wife lives with severe anxiety and also depression. And I didn't know anything about NAMI or about mental illness until I joined NAMI 15 years ago. My wife had come down with her depression and her anxiety, and I didn't know where to go. And her daughter in Brooklyn sent me a text saying that St. Brendan's had a group called NAMI that you might want to attend. And I went to the first meeting. I told them that my wife had high anxiety, and they said, "Do you know what that is?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, are you afraid of heights?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm afraid of heights." He said, "Imagine you're looking straight down on the edge of a cliff. That rush you feel, your wife feels it 24/7 and can't turn it off." And that opened my eyes.
The kind of three pillars of NAMI are education, support, and advocacy. Either they're experiencing mental illness or have loved ones or anyone else that they kind of want to help just get that perspective from the other side of things.
I had an individual that came to my group. He talked about how he was very successful as an actuary, had millions of dollars, and he blew it all. He wound up living in a deserted cabin on a wood floor. I didn't know that night, but that night he was suicidal. He was thinking of taking his life. That night changed his whole life for him, he said. He now says, "I saved his life." And to have someone tell you that, that's the biggest compliment anybody can give you. He didn't take his life that night. He's gone to NAMI. He was going to my group religiously for about 2-3 years. But he's an outstanding individual, and he's someone that I highly appreciate, because the biggest thing we need to do is kill the stigma. Because it's a physical illness. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You didn't will it on yourself. All you do, you need help like everyone else does. If they're diagnosed with mental illness, they just isolate.
Depression and isolation, it can kind of compound on itself. When you're kind of spiraling into any sort of thought pattern, the only thing it takes to break that cycle is to find one other person that understands. And that I've seen with multiple people has been kind of the difference maker and why they've been interested in NAMI. The
biggest thing you can do to beat the stigma is to talk about it. Just by sharing my brother took his life, or what my wife went through, people all of a sudden will open up, well, my father or my sister or my uncle, and they've been holding this in for years and years, and the floodgates open up.
The addition of Romy Romero working here, she's been able to reach out to the Hispanic community. Literally hundreds of people that we were never able to reach, that a lot of them were Latina moms who had no connection to any sort of social services. And those Latina moms are now well embedded in our program.
The NAMI Walk is a big fundraiser they do once a year. And I always have a team, Grandpa Joe's team, that walks. And it's a chance to just get everyone together and know about the NAMI focus. And they're constantly looking at new groups. They're trying to service the youth.
The NAMI Eastside focus, more so than other, I think, NAMI affiliates, has been on youth for a long time. The NAMI Eastside Children's Conference had cool stuff like art therapy.
NAMI wouldn't exist without the volunteers. There are eyes, our ears, our hands, our feet, our hearts out there with the people. I mean, we can put stuff on the internet, but it doesn't have the same effect as being with a person and touching a person and laughing with a person and crying with a person. They're the face of NAMI.
Without volunteers, there is no NAMI. The demand, unfortunately, is only growing. More people need to hear about the power of connection. More people need to hear that NAMI exists, that help exists.
Give. Help me do my thing. I couldn't do my thing without you giving. It takes money to do these things. They're not free. They get some funding, they get some donations, but it doesn't cover nearly enough of what we have to do. And even if it's $5 or $10, it still goes a long way.
People know that other peer-based support exists, but if you have schizophrenia or depression or just your emotions in general, that whole gamut can be covered by NAMI programs that exist and are out there, and nobody knows about them.
My mother, Teresa, she's the one that showed me the model of how to handle mental illness in your family and in the ones you love. She became a clown. Becoming a clown, she was able to find the brighter side of life. And so I owe a lot to her, because she taught me how to be able to handle mental illness and not let it handle me. She lived a good life, 90 years, but she still is in here with me, and I'll always remember that.
NAMI Eastside means to me community and connection.
A positive organization to belong to. Welcoming space for all, place where folks who are just learning about mental health can find support. Never having to be alone in your search for support or in your mental health journey.
All right. Oh, NAMI means connection.
NAMI Eastside means hope.
Hope. They're hope for me, they're hope for the people that I serve, and helping those that are the marginalized, those that aren't not understood, those that feel that they don't have any self-worth. I'm there to let them know that we love them and we want them to have a good life.